It's Rob and Slim Show.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Dude,
what is up,
what's
Sam?
Doing pretty good. Glad to be back on again.
Dude, glad to have you on, and I just want to start by saying sorry. I couldn't remember Reckless Airwaves Radio during Frankie's interview on our last show. I was trying so hard.
For one show, I was back as the head of Team Left Jab. There's nothing wrong with that. A little retro.
It still drives. It still drove.
What was that? When did you forget?
During Frankie's interview, I was mentioning that I had talked to Sam, and I couldn't remember.
Oh, okay.
Reckless
right,
Airwaves, and not throwing anyone under the bus, but Frankie couldn't remember either. So
I don't remember that interview.
You guys have that alcohol going there, so I kind of just summed it up to that.
It flows.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it flows.
So I said, Sam, I don't even remember that interview. Frankie who? Who did we talk to?
Oh, man.
Did you see, you brought up Frankie. Did you see someone was, they were bullying him or something on Instagram? Did you guys see that?
No.
Yeah, I don't know who it was. I looked at it. Someone put it on his, like, that Facebook fan club thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I looked at the Instagram of this guy, and it just looked like just some random nobody, so I didn't even bother. But
yeah,
you see that all the time, though.
I see a lot of times when he'll post something, like a lot of people just talking shit. And,
yeah, well, they're jealous. They're jealous because he's very popular.
Dude, he's awesome. He's great. Is he not? Like, he does not need to come on our show, but as soon as we finish talking to him, he's like, when am I coming on next? He's super cool.
He loves doing it. He loves doing it. Is that guy Pete still alive?
I
don't know what happened to that.
I don't know.
He did. Frankie didn't mention that he likes Pete.
Yeah, he talked about it.
That,
I think I said, somebody or Pete, and he's like, both. Oh, Dylan. Yeah, I was like, Dylan or Pete, because Dylan's awesome.
Right.
I love Dylan Attack.
Dylan Attack?
And I was like, yeah, Dylan or Pete, and he said both. So, yeah, I respect Frankie. But I don't respect Pete. I don't respect Pete.
No, Pete's an idiot.
He's
just conniving his way onto shows. He's a nobody.
Yeah, that's what we felt.
He shouldn't be on any shows. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't create any content. He just showed up out of nowhere.
When he called, when they called us, he was just like, like the virus. He was just vaping. I'm like, yeah, that's what you do when you call a show. You just sit there and vape, you dummy.
Pete would be like, if me and Rob ever broke up and I did a Slim Show, I would be Pete.
Oh, no. You still wouldn't be
Except
Pete.
you wouldn't have AIDS.
Yes, that's what I mean. You hopefully wouldn't have AIDS. I mean, maybe.
Well, I'd get AIDS first. Like, that would be my goal. Like, Rob and Slim is no more. I gotta go get AIDS. I'll put that on Craigslist. Stop doing podcasts, need AIDS.
Get AIDS. Fuck. I wanted to ask you, Sam. Oh, my God. Like, I just... doing a show is exhausting itself.
Whew.
So doing a show and running a network, how do you do it, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, though. I mean, basically, I have it down to I have a lot of guests that come on, multiple times over the year, and I pretty much have it summed up to a bunch of guys that come on to talk about baseball, a couple of guys that come on to do some comedy. The network, it's really, I don't even know if I call it a network anymore. It's just radio, other radio shows and podcasts like the Rob and Slim Show that I feature on my website and everything like that, which is the same thing as a network.
I've seen,
if you have it set up right, if you have the website set up right and the social media set up right, it's really not that hard.
That's what I was wondering, if it was almost like an automatic
thing. The hardest.
I was wondering if it was like automatic almost, where like things were set up to just run.
I wish it was. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of editing, and you have to go on the website and add everything and make sure it's all correct and stuff like that. But after you do it for a long time, I've done it and you guys have done it for so long, it's just repetitive, and it just you don't think of it that way, like it's extra work and everything like that. It's just a lot of fun, and we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't enjoy it, right?
Yeah, have to love it. Yeah, totally. I wanted to ask you too, as far as running a network. You don't have to name any names if you don't want to, but have any shows like rubbed you wrong, where you've been like, get the fuck out of here, or either you've got them off, or just right from the beginning you were like, I don't like you guys, like you're not getting on my station or network.
Well, two things kind of more annoyances than anything, because I can't really say that they really upset me, because these are just random guys that I've had on. So and no, I'm not going to mention their names because I don't want them to get more than the 15 listens that they usually get, on their show that they put out.
Yes.
So, this one guy that I had on for a while, for a couple of years actually. He did a baseball podcast, and he came on my show frequently, and he basically, he hooked up with this another site, and a new site at that, with no following really, and it's nothing, it's a baseball site that's really not anything unique. It won't even be around in probably a year.
Yeah.
And he basically was like, he's exclusive to that now, and I'm like, well, thanks for letting me know, because you've been on this thing for a while. And Rob, Slim, you guys are on a bunch of networks and stuff like that.
I've lost track over
I'm looking
years.
to be exclusive, but at least let me know.
Yeah.
So I'm not putting the show out, right? Just be a man about it.
I never
He didn't do that.
even ask anybody. I'm on these other things, and if you want me on, I'm good with that. But yeah, I'm not gonna take myself off other things unless you're paying me a salary. I'm not gonna be exclusive.
So was this guy telling you leaving your network to be on this other network?
No, not at all. Not at all. He basically, what it basically came down to is he was like, he basically was like, I still would like to come on as a guest on Reckless Airwaves Radio.
Okay.
The podcast is just going to be on this new thing, this new site or whatever. And he's going to shout out my show at the beginning of his podcast as if that means a thing to me. People are running to my website because this guy who doesn't have much of a following at all mentions my thing.
So he was...
What I told him is, nah, no thanks. I don't play second fiddle to, especially some new, site that came along.
Yeah.
So I was like, I booted him, and then just for spite, I booted his friend off the site too. Because,
That's amazing.
I'm a dick at times.
Yeah, we
you
can
gotta
all be. We
so
all can be.
He basically was telling you that he was leaving, but was trying to make it sound like he still liked you, and was just being a moron about it instead of just being like, "Yo, Sam, I'm off your fucking radio station. I'm doing this now.
I'm off, Sam. I'll see you sometime.
See you when I see you.
See you when I see you. If I don't see you, I saw you.
Just be a man about it. I mean, I know if you guys became exclusive somewhere. First of all, I know you guys are smart enough that it would involve money. That's number one. This thing involved nothing. And second of all, I know that you guys
Lots
would
of
tell
money
me, be like, yeah, we can't be on your network anymore, and I would be cool with it. But don't spring it on like it's a surprise. Like the whole world is waiting for this kid to, say this big news. Nobody even knows who he is. He's just some random guy that I found on freaking Twitter to talk about the Yankees because I'm a Mets fan. That's basically all it was.
I was going to ask you too. With the pandemic, are sports going to be a thing this season?
Before I answer that, can I throw one more thing out there?
Yes, throw it.
So there was another guy that really annoyed me. Is I had a bunch. He has another website. It was basically, and this is another guy I'm not going to mention because I just don't want to give any of these people any kind of publicity because they're really nobody. So I had a bunch of guys that were on his network come on and talk some sports, and they were fine. Really nothing against those guys, but this guy who ran it, he sent me a message, and he was just like, yeah, I can send you this guy, that guy, that guy. I'm like, no, I don't need all your guys to come on here. I'll cherry pick who I want to have on.
Yes.
And that's that. Yes. And then so he listens to the show, and he's like, dude, you know what you should do? You should take your intro. Now, I don't know if you guys listen, but the intro that I have is basically modeled after the Robin Slim intro, which I told you guys last year. I love your intro with all the people, putting the show over and ads. I don't really have ads, but I basically did that, with a bunch of people who come on the show and Valerie the model and something like that. And I added like Fred the Elephant Boy and Speech Impediment Man who come on now.
Yes.
And it's about a 2.5, 3 minute intro. And he's like, yeah, you should really shorten that up and, maybe put that in the middle. And I was just like, you know what? I don't need advice from some nobody like you. I'm going to do what I want. I'm not trying to make this, be like exactly what the podcast or the radio show is supposed to be. I'm going to do, the way I like it.
I love that. And I just want to throw out there, creative. I got, what we do. I used to listen to Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez, and dude, their intros would be 15 minutes sometimes. Yeah. Besides the long song they threw in there, like they would have they would do what we did with like, yeah, this is me, and you're listening to this, and yeah, I love that.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah.
So I got something.
What I did was I basically just unfriended all those guys. I said never coming on again, and I told them to go fuck themselves.
God.
So I don't know. I've been a little moody lately, I guess.
It happens.
Non-related to intro, but I don't think I've ever told Rob this. When we used to have, the Lamborghini on here, and I used to be good friends with this Lamborghini. And one time I threw this party, and he brought over some of his friends, and one of his buddies was here, and I was showing his buddies some of our clips, and this guy constantly was deconstruction every single thing that we were doing, and he was like, well. Because we, interviewed a musician at one time, and he's like, well, you should really, when you interview a musician, you should call them, an hour beforehand and make sure they're okay with the levels and play the levels back to them. And then he was just, critiquing every little thing, and I don't talk to that guy anymore. But that's the end of that story.
It's insulting, isn't it?
Because he ain't doing anything.
Yes.
Some radio school or whatever that they paid $1,000 to take a course, think that they're like Howard Stern now or Joe Rogan, and it's like they're gonna tell you what to do, and most of the time they've been doing it for like a year or whatever.
Well, but this dude
or not done a thing.
I don't even want suggestions from someone who hasn't been doing it a while. It's basically that.
This guy,
suggestions from someone like you guys who've been doing it for years. I'm not taking it from some kid or something like that.
This guy, all he did was he was an auto mechanic, and suddenly, and he was like a bassist. He was a bassist in a couple bands, so I guess that's where his ideals came from. I don't know, but all our jokes were all wrong. It was the wrong delivery. The levels were wrong.
I had a guy tell me one time, a friend of mine who never did a thing with podcast, radio, interviewing, anything. I worked with the guy, and he was like, yeah, you're great at interviewing, but don't say, I can't even remember what the word was. He was like, don't say some word that I say when I start to stutter or something like that. And I was like,
just.
Fuck out of here, man.
Yeah,
I said,
that's
this guy, you put a mic in front of him would just freeze and wouldn't know what to do, and he's going to tell me, what words to use. And that's how people are. People who can't do what we do feel like they're almost making up for it by just giving us advice. And it's like, we don't want that advice.
Yeah, no, we don't, and we don't have to take it, and we don't have to like you.
I don't take it.
No. Same. Yep. I want to ask you too, Sam. I love that on Reckless Airwaves Radio, you got Kevin Goatee and Kevin Israel's Gutting the Sacred Cow and the Speech Impediment Man. I just think those are great shows, and they're new additions, right?
Yeah. Gutting the Sacred Cow, that's obviously a great show. Movie critics, and they basically slash up all the movies. They basically come on with the Rob and Slim show long before me.
Oh yeah,
those guys are great.
We've known them before they even started the podcast. Man,
he's awesome. He's almost like he is a regular at this point. He comes on every month. He used to be on the Howard Stern show. I think he still does go on there once in a while. And he can't stand Joe Biden, and I let him rant, and we have a lot of laughs and stuff, and he talks funny, and it's just great. And then I have Fred the Elephant Boy comes on now. Those are like two new additions.
Cool.
To all the regulars, and it's just it's a lot of fun. And just like the guy that you had last week, the guy Jesse, who was really right wing.
Yes.
That's what you got to do. You got to have both sides on sometimes. You don't have to agree with them, and you could have some give and take. And when Speech Impediment Man comes on, he's very Joe Rogan. But I also have some other people that come on that can't stand Trump. So, I think that makes it interesting. You don't want it to just be, turn into a political show.
That, and we don't have to hate each other just because you have that view. We could also laugh. We could joke.
We could laugh at all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way I feel like everything used to be, and then now all of a sudden, you have to hate somebody because they're the opposite side. I don't get down with that.
Yeah, that's the thing I loved about our Jesse Peterson interview is I felt like as much as we were kind of bashing each other going back and forth, but we both had fun. He admitted that he had fun, and then the two of us enjoyed doing it, and it was fun all around. It wasn't angry. It wasn't he never came off as offended,
and we never blocked each other.
Pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all right.
And see, That's what makes great radio right there. Is because you guys. I know you guys don't really like Trump. I'm kind of in the middle myself. I think most of them on both sides are just crooks. But you could have easily been like, fuck this. I don't agree with anything this guy's saying. He's a nut. Let's get him out. Let's get him out of here.
Yeah.
But instead, you turned it into a great segment, a great interview, and you had. It's a memorable interview now because you did the right thing. You let him talk, but you hit your jabs in there as well. And, that's what you got to do when you interview someone. You can't just take it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had like a great song in there, I think, or something.
I did hear that. I did hear some people say they really enjoyed the Driz song. So.
Well, something about like men being superior. I don't remember. Yeah.
And to be fair, he was a good sport too.
Yes.
Because he could have did it as well. He could have been like, these guys... these guys don't really agree with what I'm saying, and he could have just hung the phone up. But both of you guys, all three of you guys really did a good job, I think.
Yeah, that was my big takeaway from him, because we've had other guys that we didn't agree with politically or just in general, and they would just hang out. But he clearly realized at the beginning that we didn't agree with him politically, but he stuck on.
Even when I was emailing his people, the one guy was like, "Look, just let me know right now. Is this going to be silly or is this going to be serious?" And I said, on my end, it's going to be a serious debate. I told him that. I said, I don't know where Slim's going to go because I cannot speak for him. Slim could have went anywhere with it, but I said, speaking from my part, it's going to be a serious debate. So, they knew that. They did know that.
Yeah.
And they still came on. Right. So I do give them props for that. Yeah,
absolutely. It was a great interview, and like I said, it's just, I enjoy having both sides on. I enjoy having both sides of sporting, like Mets, Yankees, stuff like that. It makes it more interesting. You don't want to just do the same interview over and over, talking about the same topic.
No, because that's not interesting. That's not life. Yeah, exactly. I do want to give you props right now, Sam. Last time I was on your show, you mentioned about not wearing, your sport team's clothing in public because people bug you. I just ordered a Rucka hat. I'm gonna wear a Rucka hat.
Nice.
I don't know. Is that better or worse than a Yankees hat?
I used to wear the Met jacket, and I used to wear the Met hat a lot when I was younger, and I would just have guys come up to me and just be like, "Yeah, good win last night," or even get mocked sometimes. Yeah. And it's I'm too old for that now. It's I'm not interested in talking to a stranger on the street. I had a guy one time. I wear this. I'm not a big hockey fan, but I wear this Canadiens hat. And this guy he started talking about the Canadiens. I was like, dude, it's just a hat. I don't even watch hockey, and I just walked away. It's I can't do that anymore. I don't have the patience.
About a year ago, I had an old man start talking shit to me, and I had my kids with me. I was in a Wawa. And this old man started talking shit about the Yankees. Or on the other side of the coin, like you said, I've had this old guy on a bus start showing me all sorts of cards he had, and I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about your cards. I'm just going somewhere, and I don't want to talk to you.
My stepfather told me that once, where he went to work wearing a NWO shirt, like the wrestling shirt, but he wasn't. He was a little into it, but not really. And then there was one kid that was working for him that was like, "Oh, that shit is real," and I'm really into that group and blah blah blah. And he just regretted wearing that shirt after that.
Anything, yeah.
There's one thing we could all agree on. When we wear stuff like this, it's never a hot girl that approaches us.
Never.
That's the sad part.
It's either an old man or a fat guy. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We got to start wearing My Little Pony shirts or something. I don't know.
No, just useless.
My Little Pony.
Sam, what is
Twilight Sparkle?
What is Dead Air?
Yeah.
Is that your show or is that another show on Reckless?
No, that's another one of my shows. I always wanted to have I do the interviews basically all over the place randomly whenever I could have someone on, and I just put them on shortly after that. So I always wanted to have a show that had a set day and a set time, kind of like you guys have on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I always wanted it to be almost I won't say underground show, but kind of a little more in depth than just the regular interviews, anything goes. So in other words, even if I was to have a sports person on or even a baseball person on, it's not just going to be about baseball. It's going to be talking about all their interests and stuff like that. And So that's what that is. It's going to be, it's on every Sunday, and I'm going to get like all kinds of I'm trying to get like all kinds of guests, thinking outside of the box. Like hot girls are definitely like, they are moved to the front of the line for this show.
Welcomed.
That's definitely one of the new rules for that. But
love hot girls.
It's going to, it's a lot of fun. It's,
cool.
I like to add wrinkles here and there, and that's a new one.
That's cool. So, is it, do you plan that separate? Do you know that person's going to be on that show? Or is it somebody you had on for your regular show that you feel like you can go longer with?
Yeah, so it's going to be both. So like to start it, it's going to be, I'm going to try and like have a bunch of people I've never had on before. So like the first one that I put out last Sunday was this freelance sports reporter, Kat Garcia, who she's pretty famous. She's done a lot of work with MLB and stuff like that. And she came on and, we talked about all baseball stuff and stuff, but she also is into like conspiracy theories and the George Floyd trial. So that's kind of where I'm going with this show. Like it's going to be, we'll talk about her thing, which is sports, but then we're going to do all kinds of other things. And she was a great guest, and she was on for like an hour. Like the next guest is going to be this hot girl that does like a podcast called I'm That Bitch, and it's basically a sex podcast. And I did an interview with her. That's something I would have never done, like with Team Left Jab.
Cool.
And that's why I wanted to move over to something totally different, like Reckless Airwaves Radio, and then I have another girl coming up. So yeah, so it's based, and then at the same time, I might bring on Rob down the line, and not just to talk about radio, just to talk about something totally different, like sports or the George Floyd case or something like that. And fingers crossed, one day the Driz may come on.
I was going to say, you don't want that guy. But
well, you want me. You don't want that slim guy. But like me, I can give you some fucking awesome content. Golden, I call it.
Maybe I'll bring, what's his name? The guy with AIDS on. And,
I was going to say,
have a talk with him.
Yeah. Yeah, go deep into the AIDS story. I want
talk about AIDS therapeutic drugs or something like that. What's
tried
keeping you alive besides following Frankie around?
Right, and the
stuff like that.
Yeah. Sam, I want to know, who are you, bro? Because every time we have you on, dude, your videos grab a nice amount of views. You gotta be hiding stuff. You gotta be holding stuff back from us.
I think that's just all the people who used to follow me doing boxing that just go on there and say, what the hell happened to this guy? What is he doing this now?
They got to hear it.
I've always been impressed. Every time you come on, the numbers are like, Sam, man, you're a celebrity.
I think he is. I think he's pretending to be.
Is he going to
Sam.
talk about me? Yeah. Is he going to talk about me? A lot of people.
And they find out quickly that I'm not going to talk about them.
Sam, I think you're really Leonardo DiCaprio.
What? That wasn't even a word.
Nope.
Leonardo
DiCaprio. And you pretend to be the Sam guy, but you're really Leonardo or DiCaprio.
Oh, goddamn. Hang up while you have the chance,
I had an
Sam.
idea, and it's about a year too late, but I still wanted to bring it up real quick before I go. Slambo's definitely not coming back, right?
No, he fell off the. I think he's dead.
He hates our guts.
Yeah. I was thinking
with him, and this should have happened last year, but you guys should have had a Slambo funeral show. Wear black and everything, but I think it's a little past, being effective, right?
Yeah.
I'll text him right now, Sam. I'll text Flambeau. What do you think I should text him? How would I text him something from you?
Tell him Sam said fuck you.
Sam, give me something you want to say to Slambo, and I will text him right now. All right, go, Sam. What am I texting Slambo?
Man.
Oh, man. Imagine if he shows up on a different show one day, you guys are just skimming through YouTube, and you see Slambo sitting there as a third, guy on a podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, why did you...
Whoa.
Wait, we're getting really
Sam,
deep
where can everybody find
Why
you?
did you leave Robin Slim? Quote. There's the quotation marks here. Quotation mark. Okay. Said Sam.
Sam, where can everybody find you?
If you go on Facebook, just look up Reckless Airwaves Radio, and on Twitter, the handle is at Reckless Airwave, no S at the end. And then just go to the site, recklessairwaves.com. Everything's on there. All the interviews, all the great shows like the Rob and Slim Show is featured there, and it's a great site. There's a lot of good stuff on there, and, you know, again, I love having you guys as part of the Reckless Airwaves website, and it's always a pleasure.
Awesome, dude. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And don't even acknowledge them. Or the Driz. You don't.
All right, so I'm texting this. Hey, why did you leave Robin Slim said Sam Nemo from Left Jab / Reckless Airwaves?
Jab, wait a minute.
Sent.
That's 2 weeks in a row now.
I'll let you know what he says.
Oh, you might have to block Slim. Rob's
well, in
a good
fairness
one.
to Slim, though, Slambo doesn't even know what Reckless Airwaves is, right? Because
No.
he left when I was still doing Team Left Jab, so actually I got to take that back.
That's why I did the slash.
He put slash. He put both in.
I'll let you know if he gets back.
Love you, Sam.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon, brother.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
You too,
All right.
man.
Bye.
Later.